thing. Now, Dr. D'Arsonville also was a real medical doctor and professor of experimental medicine. This is one of the laboratories which the inside of one of the laboratories which he had, and you can see those high voltage devices there, and see a very large Leyden bottle down there with the water in it. The bottom thing would be a very large capacitor, see? Just like if you use your swimming pool for a capacitor, which you can. And you see the very high voltage dividers here. This is in itself is a device that builds high voltage, about 5 million volts, I believe. That's what the output of this particular device was. As one might gather, D'Arsonville had a lot of very interesting friends, and these are some of them, if you can read their names. They probably don't mean much today, but at that time they were heads of state and others. And here's one with his class of students at the college. He's in the center, the fellow in the center. This is 1933. At that time, he was well into his 80s. And he was still in very good health and involved in a lot of things. But those are some of the people that, some of his helpers at the hospital where he worked, one of the hospitals. Okay, this is the corner view of some of the buildings at the College of France, where he was a professor of experimental medicine. Okay, we have here this is evidence that Tesla knew that the coils could be wound for amperage. And I'll have to, there's 3 different illustrations here, but you see the center tap, the device in the middle, or the one with the H on it, is your armature or your spinning deal like you have in a starter motor or in a charger, say an electric charger in an automobile. The outlets there, if you notice, one of them, the center tap, is going to be your negative, and the other 2 are going to be the high voltage output. But what they're basically doing is storing electricity into the system in such a way that these high voltage arc lamps, which are the little over on D there, D prime, the little round things, those are all arc lamps. And you can put any number of them there, and it will automatically adjust to them. So what is happening in my case, I'm removing that armature there. I'm keeping the center tap, which is the negative, and the 2 output things, and I'm basically, that becomes my L1 coil. I take my L2 coil. The L1 coil I put in place of the charging device, which is in the center, and by the magnetic radio frequency pulsing of it, I'm running that coil system in the same manner which it's being ran with the generator, conventional generator. Except that what I'm doing runs at a much better rate, and it runs at over energy rates and things like that, which this thing I don't know how you could calculate it, except that it does have output and it does run devices and do useful work. The center one here is a slightly different arrangement, but it has the center tap, which is important to getting amperage. It's wound, one part of the coil there is wound in one direction, one's wound in another direction, and that means that the one that's going the opposite direction is made to produce amperage instead of voltage. So the top part produces voltage, the bottom part produces amperage, and then there's a second or third way, and then there's about a dozen other ways, but the bottom one will produce huge amounts of amperage. It's got a double back on the thing. Yes? On the A on the top one? Top number on